Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is LaToria, and we are back again for another episode of Soul Care Sessions. I got my sis Katrina Duncan with me, the
Going on?
great Katrina Duncan.
Oh, wait a minute now. Wait a minute now.
And we decided that we were going to come back and revisit on a deeper level, unpack a little bit deeper, just the conversation about toxicity and toxic friendships, toxic relationships, and
Yes.
really break that down. Some of you beautiful ladies out there gave us some feedback on what you wanted to hear more of and more in depth. And like I've said in several episodes in the past, we are here to serve you. So
You
that's
absolutely.
what we're going to do. We're just going to jump into a more in-depth conversation about that. But before we get started, Miss Katrina, for those who this is their first time watching or their
Yes.
first time, seeing and hearing from you, can you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about who you are.
Absolutely. So as she said, I'm Katrina Duncan. For the last 10 years, I have been a school counselor. I have counseled everybody from middle school to high school, from South Dallas to Mesquite, all over the Metroplex. And it has been my pleasure to serve kids for the last 10 years of my life. And I look forward to continuing in that service as I move into private practice. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about working more one-on-one with girls and not having to be hindered with time or constraints, from school. So I got my LPC so I can do that. You know what I'm saying? You got
Come
to do
on,
what you got to
LPC.
do. So that's where I'm at, boo.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so off the top, can you give us like a working definition, brief summary of toxic relationships?
Absolutely. So last time and again, we won't go into it too deep because we talked about it a little bit before, but if this is your first time, we want you to know that toxic relationships are relationships that tear you down instead of build you up. They're relationships where the negatives outweigh the positives, where you're not supporting each other. It could be you're toxic, or the person in the relationship with you is toxic. See, we didn't even talk about that last time, whether or not you were toxic.
Mm,
Oops.
mm.
And so, we recognize that people have good days and bad days, so just because you have a good day, excuse me, just because you have a bad day doesn't mean that, you're toxic or the person is toxic. But if it's repeated, continual, all of that, yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah,
Have
need
to
to
cut
cut
it.
it. Have to
Yes.
cut it. So,
So,
okay. Oh,
yes.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Are
Oh,
you,
no,
are
no,
you
no,
good?
you
Yeah.
good, you good.
All right. So one of the things that I think is important for us to kind of jump straight into, being that we are speaking to young ladies, um, teenage range, right?
Yeah.
Maybe even into young adult range. But so, what do you do when the situation is like your mom and them? You know what I'm saying? Your mom, your auntie, your uncle, your older cousin, or someone that may have some type of parental or authority or some type of authority over you,
Mm-hmm.
and you out here trying to live your best life and
Right,
be your healthy and best self, but your mom and them
right,
unfortunately have some toxic traits that they are unapologetically just kind of like chilling in. You know what I'm saying?
right. Yeah.
So
So, when you in somebody's crib, you got to kind of be respectful of what they say. You know what I'm saying? So, the first thing that I would say is to make sure that you're on the side of right, right?
mm,
So, if you are doing some things that you don't supposed to be doing, staying out or not studying and getting bad grades, cutting up smoking weed, you know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. If
mhm,
you getting down with things that you're not supposed to get down with, and experience a consequence because of that, that's not toxicity. That's being a parent. That's being a guardian. That's raising you in the way that you should go.
yes.
So if they're telling you to do something right, maybe they're not telling you in the way that you want to be told. You know what I mean? But I wanted to address that first because I know, when I was growing up, I did some things I probably shouldn't have. My mama told me not to, and she, what I'm saying, she didn't spare no rod. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay. However, there's some times when you can be, ain't nobody perfect, but there's some times when you can be absolutely doing your best. You doing your chores, you know what I'm saying? You working on your grades. You may not be getting straight A's, but you reading, you study, monitoring, you trying to get help, you being respectful. And it sometimes, when you're in that situation, a person can be imperfect, right? The person that you're dealing with, it's like, so you're trying your best to work in perfection, which we know we're not perfect. However, the person doesn't receive what you got going on as positive because it's them. Like they got some stuff going on. You know what I mean? They're stressed out, things that ain't got nothing to do with you. You know what I mean? So one of the things that I feel like is very important, and I tell girls all the time, is know when to have a conversation, right? So know like your parents' cycles. Like it ain't the best time to talk when they just got off work. They've been sitting in traffic. You know what I mean? So know their patterns. When is the best time to talk to them? Are they a morning person? Are they an evening person? Sometimes it may be that they don't never want to hear from you. And in those instances, you have to find other trusted adults to have conversations with. You can't hold in all of that negativity, right? So if you got somebody constantly, when you come home, they coming at you, they calling you out your name, you first of all, play your role, you know what I mean? You in their house, so you're not in control, right?
Yeah.
So don't internalize what's going on with them. If you know you're doing what's right, you don't internalize what's going on with them. In order to do that, you got to talk about it. You can't hold that stuff in. You got to talk to a counselor at school. You know what I mean? Maybe an auntie. I had an auntie growing up. I used to go to her house every weekend, and I knew I could talk to her, and she wouldn't go tell my mama. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to find people that you can talk to that's going to lead you in the right way. Not your homie that's going to go out and tell your business when you get through talking about it. Say, y'all, did y'all know she got a whooping? Her mama went left on her. You know what I mean? Like, right. Not somebody that's going to gossip about you, because that relationship, if you got somebody that's going to talk about you like that, that's toxic, right? So absolutely. You can't, heal a toxic relationship with another toxic relationship, right? So find some people that you trust and build some relationships with them, that you can talk to them about, and then make some plans. Right? Because what you're going through right now ain't gonna last always, right? At some point, you're gonna be 18. At some point, you're gonna graduate high school. You're gonna move on and do some other things. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a plan, then you just wishing. You got to make a plan as to what you are going to do to better the situation as soon as you can, right? As soon as you can. So always be respectful. Talk to people, so you can kind of process through what's going on with you, make a plan. And then if it's so bad to where you are being physically abused, that type of situation, because we know that happens too, then you need to get help. So talking to a counselor, calling the abuse hotline, something like that, just making sure that you are good and don't internalize it. It's not your fault. When you're doing your best, know that it's not your fault.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so good. That's so good. I just want to encourage you guys so that you realize that it is not uncommon to find yourself in a situation where the person who has authority over you,
yes,
who is your parent or parental figure or guardian, is toxic.
Yes.
That's more normal than you think, little sis.
Absolutely.
So if you are in that situation, do not let the enemy trick you into thinking that you're the only one. Everybody else's parents are normal. Nobody else is going through any kind of hell. Like, no, it's more common than you would understand or realize that that's the situation. And like Katrina said, it could be so many different reasons why that parental figure finds themselves in a toxic space. But just know that you are not alone.
Right.
That you can handle it. Take the advice that Miss Katrina just gave you, and above and beyond that, like having a prayer life. It don't have to be perfect.
Get that. You gotta pray.
If you just say, God help me, God, this sucks. I tell God something sucks all the time, and He hears me. He draws near to me. He knows my heart, even if my language may be a little foul or maybe a little rough around the edges. He knows my heart, and the most important thing is I'm drawing near to Him.
Right.
So it don't matter how you go to God. There's an important way to go to Him with reverence, of course. Yes. But the point is to go to Him.
It's just a conversation. When we talk to God, it's just a conversation.
And He sees what you're going through, and there is a purpose in what you're going through. Everybody's mama and them is not, Claire Huxtable.
Right. I don't know Claire Huxtable now. I don't know one of those. I don't even think they know who you're talking about. So you don't
You're
going
right.
too
You're
far.
right. You're right. I went too far back. I went too far back. You know what I'm saying? I went too far back. What? I
Yeah.
don't know. Moesha's mama. I don't know. But
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. TV is toxic. I don't
yeah.
watch too much of it.
That's true. Okay. But the point
You know,
is this, like, no parent is perfect, and it's
right.
more normal than you think for people who are teenagers and young adults to feel like their parents have some toxic issues or problematic, and it's likely because of some trauma that they went through probably
Absolutely.
when they were your age. But the point that I'm saying to you is that's more normal than you think, but
Mm-hmm.
don't let yourself become a victim to that. Like
Right.
Miss Katrina said, have a game plan. Know in
Yes.
your head, when I get 18, this is my plan so that I no longer have to be in this toxic environment.
Yes.
One more thing I'm going to interject before I'm going to let you keep going, sis. And
Well, you just brought something to my mind too. So go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I gotta bring the reality of the word into this. And
Come on now.
Ephesians 6:23, it tells us to honor our father and our mother, so that, paraphrasing, so that we will have long life.
Yes.
So here's the thing, like she was saying, play your role. Honor, the definition of honor means to respect. So you can see that somebody is wrong. Hello, president we just had. You can see that someone is wrong and still respect them.
Right.
That's the mindset that you have to transition into. If you're in a situation where your mom and them is tripping, or their behavior is toxic or harmful towards you, you can play by their rules, like Miss Katrina just said, and that's your way of respecting them.
Yes.
Just because they're toxic doesn't mean that you disrespect them. The word says honor them anyway, and that's going to bring long life to you. So that game plan that she's telling you to have outside of, once you can grow to be outside of their roof, there's long life that you can have outside of that, little sis. So just keep that in mind. All right, I'm gonna let you go.
Well, one of the things I want to see, we both, that's how the Holy Spirit works, though. So we both need to go to the word, right? So I want, whenever I said internalizing things, I want to make that clear, because people are like, what does she mean by that? Meaning, don't take it personal, because what they're saying isn't about you. It's about them and what they're going through, right? Wow. And so in order to not do that, in order to not take it personal, you have to affirm yourself. That means you have to speak positive to yourself. And when you say go in prayer, I'm saying go to the word. That's right. So you go to, when you praying, you need to affirm some of the things that you've already read in his word. Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans God has for me. Put yourself in there, right? Yeah. It's not just, sorry, y'all. It's not just about, somebody else or those people in the Bible. No, those are promises for you. Mm-hmm. And so even if it takes, write it on the wall, God has plans to prosper me. God does not have plans to harm me. I am not so-and-so. I am not this word that I was called. I am not this situation. Be very specific. Write it down. It's something about writing that just makes it seep into you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So affirm yourself by understanding the promises of God, knowing what you're not, right? Because I know I've been called out my name, and I don't know who they were talking to. They weren't talking to me, because that ain't my name. Right. Right? And then go to God in prayer. That's so good. Yeah. That's so good. So what would you say as far as, like, we talked about kind of like the parental authoritative kind of figure piece. What about when it's your peers? How do you handle the toxic friendships? Yeah. So, man, you said that, the parental relationship, you're not the only one. Man, when I tell you everybody has had an experience with a toxic friend, if you haven't, wait for it. Wait for it. Okay. So I just want to give some steps, right? I want to give some steps. Number one, it's okay to give a second chance, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say if, your friend popped off, and so she's apologized sincerely, and it was the one time, right? It was the one time. And you decide to forgive her, as the Lord says, right? You forgive her. It's okay one time. When it's not okay, it's when it's repeated, right? Or if the apology is not sincere, or if it's about you and not them. Well, you made me. No. Everybody has control of themselves. I ain't made you nothing, right? Now you want to acknowledge if you are in the wrong of some sort, right? But I just want to tell you that it's okay if you want to give a longtime friend a second chance, if they're, sincerely apologizing for whatever they did to you, right? It ain't always the best idea, depending on what they did. Now, if, they went and told the whole school that you blah, 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 or they posted on social media this picture and put this tag with you, that's some malicious stuff. It's probably not a good idea to give that person a second chance. You know what I mean? Like, so if she copped an attitude with you, oh, okay, well, it might have been that time, you know what I'm saying? Something, but if she's, doing other things malicious, then that's not a good idea, right? And then I think it's important for us to take time for ourselves. For some reason, we always feel like we got to be with people all the time, right? You always got to have your bestie right here and your boo thing right here. Sometimes you got to take time for yourself. Like we just said, when you're spending time with the word, you're praying, you're just taking some time to evaluate what's going on in your life. That's okay to do that. And then you got to set boundaries. So let's say if you do decide that you're going to, still be friends with this person, she popped off or whatever like that, let's have a conversation. Let's communicate. How did you feel with that? Don't deny what you feel. So this is how I felt when you blah, right? So set a boundary so that they understand that's not something that I'm going to allow in my life. And so I'm just letting you know, if we're going to be friends, I'm not going to allow that. And then you got to hold yourself to that, because if they do it again and you accept it back again, then what you just said didn't mean nothing, right? So you got to set some boundaries with people, and then practice ahead of time, So for me, my mama used to always say, you don't never think about what you say. You just say whatever comes to your mind, and she was right. So now I know what I do is I take a moment to be quiet, right? I'll be quiet, and ain't anything wrong with taking a moment. So I take a moment to be quiet, and then I'm gonna rehearse. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna say, right? Because if I just come to you when I'm dysregulated, my emotions are all over the place, I'm gonna say something that's all over the place, right? And then it's not gonna help the situation, it's gonna make it worse, right? So practice it. You know what I mean? Okay, so girl, when you said da, 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 or when you did da, 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 and then that way, whenever you present it with the situation in private, because let's go there for a second. When you're gonna have a conversation with people, it needs to be in private.
Yes.
Not in front of everybody. This is not a conversation that we're having in the middle of the hallway during class exchange, right? This is a conversation where, you say, hey, can I speak to my friend for a moment? Right? I've done that so many times, I can't tell you. I let people have my office. Sometimes you need a mediator, somebody that is impartial to both people. Yeah. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's a phone conversation when it's just the two of you. Okay. This is not something that needs to be addressed in social media.
Not even in the DM, sis, because all it takes is for somebody getting their feelings and then they screenshot and post that situation, and now you out there. Like,
and the problem with DMs and text messages is because people don't receive it how you say it. They receive it how they're feeling. So if I'm offended already, then I'm going to receive your text as offensive, right? So you can't, tone doesn't come across, and how you want it to come across, how you're saying it doesn't come across in written form. It just doesn't, True. Yes. So, and then I get asked the question, well, what if we got mutual friends? So you decide you're going to not be in a relationship with somebody and you have mutual friends. That's okay. You don't have to stop being friends with a mutual friend. You just kind of be careful. We used to say, now I'm gonna go back, handle them with long handle spoons. What does that mean? That means be cautious. Be careful. Be careful about what you're saying, because guess what? They're friends with both of you. Number one, you don't want to put them in an uncomfortable situation. The second is you might not know how their loyalty lies. You don't know if they're loyal to the other person or loyal to you. You don't know if they're going to repeat what you said or not. You know what I mean? So it's not to say you cannot be friends, but you got to be careful, and take care of yourself.
That's
if you, like I said, take some space, take some time, just breathe, and maybe that means that you're going to take a break from social media sometimes. Because I don't know about you. So let me tell you, I have found myself lately just looking at Facebook on my phone a lot, right? And I'm like, why? I started feeling like anxious, right? Because I'm going to get a new hairdo, right? So I keep looking it up I keep seeing pictures, and then I'm seeing a picture like, oh, I hope my hair don't come out like that. Lord Jesus. So then I get anxious, right? And so sometimes we got to put it down. and it's for us too, y'all. We ain't just talking, y'all. We talking because we real grown. Pay the bill. We pay this bill, but we gotta put it down sometimes.
Put it down.
That's called self-care.
It is.
Because what you see out there ain't real anyway.
It's not. Can we
Social
talk
media,
about it? Can we talk about it? Listen, offline, we was talking about the term that I had heard recently. I think it was Eric Mason I was listening to. He used the phrase edutainment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's this idea that the stuff that you guys see on social media, on YouTube, on TV, like that's planned and intentionally presented a specific way on purpose.
Yes.
It's not always, majority of the time, it is not authentic, real life what's happening.
Right.
So you're looking at all these images and you know, these quote unquote beautiful bad girls with filters and booties popping and all of this. It's like it's not even real life. And if you're not careful, you will find yourself trying to pattern yourself after something that's fake.
You better preach.
Something that's not even real.
Fake.
Not to mention, you guys at this age, everybody is impressionable. But at the age that you're at, what you consume is what you are going to become.
Right.
So if you're looking at a bunch of toxic, you know what I'm saying, stuff, this, you know, like Love and Hip Hop and all of this drama and a bunch of people fighting and anger and cussing and fussing and fighting all the time. Even if some of that stuff is real, the fact that you are locked in and that is what you're consuming, that's who you will become. What you will become is somebody toxic.
Right. Right.
If your favorite rapper, singer, whoever is somebody that can't say, I'm wrong, it's my fault, I'm sorry, I messed up, I apologize, and it's just pride. Well, she shouldn't have, and they don't know me, and da 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 da. That's who you're gonna become.
That's what it be like. Boo.
And that's toxic, sis.
Yes. Yes.
That's not giving nobody life. It's only giving people death. And we as a people group can't afford for y'all to be the next generation. And is all you have to offer. Now, don't get it twisted. There are some moments. You know what I'm saying? I'm from South Dallas. So where she will come out, but that's not my core personality.
Right.
That's not what other people around me get from me. We should be aiming to exude the fruit of the spirit.
Right.
We should be representing God, love, joy, self-control, kindness, gentleness, faithfulness, long-suffering.
Yes.
Like elements that give people life and make them actually want to be around you. All of that toxicity is really, it's not who we are as a people. And it's, you have a choice to decide whether or not that's who you want to be. So watch, pay attention, be aware of what you're consuming, because it can suck you in. It can be entertainment. I'm not gonna lie. It appeases to our egos and to what we think is funny. And she almost went off and all of that. But at the end of the day, how is that really serving you, and how is it shaping you?
Right.
You know, you talk about the term woke, like that's a part of that, being conscious above just what is you see on your phone and what somebody else is feeding you. You got to pay attention to why did they cook it that way. It's a topic for another day, but to your point,
the thing about that is we got to stay right there for just a second, because the thing that we as people don't realize is that people will only put out there what makes them look good. Ain't nobody putting on social media anything that's gonna make them look bad, even if it is their reality.
It's true, sis. And
then it impacts our self-esteem, right? I don't know about you, sis, but when I pick it up my phone now to take a picture, I'm like, ooh, I ain't got no makeup on my face.
Let me find that angle.
Listen,
angle right.
But I got to Snapchat, sis. I got to go. I need a filter.
Right.
But when you in a place where you can't take a picture, record a video without a filter, you don't live a filtered life.
Ooh.
You don't live, baby. When you go out the door, they're not going to
wait. Say it again for the people in the back.
You do not live a filtered life. And if anybody is falling in love with filtered you, what are they going to do when they see you? right? So we got to be
Wow.
our genuine selves. It ain't nothing wrong with a filter. I'm gonna put a filter on, you know, I ain't putting makeup
Yeah.
on sometimes. But if I find that I cannot take a picture without a filter, or I'm looking up to somebody that never posts a picture without a filter, or only post snippets of the good stuff, like, come on, let's be real now. Let's be real. That's how you and see we okay. Because I'm getting into a whole other topic because that's what we're going to talk about self-esteem later. But
Yes,
it
we
impacts
are.
us so much, the things that we get into, the things that we digest,
Yes.
the things that we let into our space. And that
Mm-hmm.
means through your phone most of the times. Man, it dictates how you feel about you. That's a whole nother conversation though. It's a whole nother conversation. All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Katrina. Y'all
I'm
see,
sorry.
y'all be getting us started. We have so much that we want to say to you. We have so much that
Yes.
we want to give to y'all because we really do love you. And that may sound weird. It may be awkward to hear that, but it's because we love you with the love of the Lord, because God
Yes.
loves you and because he loves us and he's given us life experiences and we've made it on the other side of some of that stuff. We
Right.
want to give it to you from a place of love because
Yes.
you guys are our future. We want to invest
Yes.
in you. And so if there's a way that we can give you free game to help you bypass some of the
Free.
foolishness that we had to walk through, that's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to do. So please know that. Like this, we're gonna end it for now, but we will be back next month
Yeah.
again just to kind of unpack some of these real life topics. Katrina, as we are wrapping up, how can these ladies, maybe even potentially their parents or guardians or whoever, find
Mhm.
you on social media, keep in contact with you, reach out to you if they want?
Absolutely. So my website is www.thefreedmind.com. And you're like, the
Awesome.
freed mind, what is that about? It's about being free, y'all. And
So
we're not
good.
being held captive by chains right now. Okay. We're being held captive by the trauma that's in our minds. We're being held captive by the things that we choose to be held captive to. So that's where my work is. Okay. And so when you go to my website, this light keeps turning off. Lord, that's the devil. You see how he doing? Look, see? But yes, www.thefreedmind.com. And on there you can click on Instagram and come and hit me up.
I love it. I love it. I'm so blessed that you are with us this season for Soul Care Sessions. I know we have so many more really just juicy,
Yeah.
juicy things to talk about.
Yes.
So ladies, as always, I always end by saying like these conversations are brought to you by FCA, Fellowship of Christian
Yes.
Athletes. They are by us for you. So if
Yes.
there's something that you want to hear on a deeper level, if there's something that Katrina said today or that we talked about that you were like, wait, tease that out, unpack that, define, help me understand,
Right.
email me. If there's prayer requests, if there's frustrations, if there's anything that you feel like you need to hear us talk through or you need
Yes.
guidance on, reach out. That's what we're
Yeah.
here for. You can find me, LaToria Wilson at FCA.org. My contact information is online as well, but we would love to hear from you guys, love to hear your
Absolutely.
feedback. Holla at us, let us know. But until next time, we'll talk to y'all.
All right.
Bye.